Hello, today's topic is Introduction to Relational Database Management Systems. So this is basically a part of ITIL. It's an IBM course, Introduction to IT Infrastructure and Landscape. The first part is Introduction to Database Management System, and the second part is IT infrastructures like the storage, network storage units, and the middle layer architectures, as well as part of networking, that is layer 3 and layer 2 networking. So basically, before going to the database part, these are our topics that is to be covered in ITIL. First part, that is the DBMS, basic concept of DBMS, then relational ER model and relational schemas, functional dependencies, a part of normalization, not all the parts, and introduction to SQL, what are the different types of query languages and the different types of subqueries, queries, views, joins, etc. Now, before going into details, let us discuss what is database management systems. What is database? Rather intuitively, if we ask what is data, so data is basically information. And what is database? Database is the related collection of related informations. And what is database management systems? Database management systems is the program through which the database are integrated in such a manner that they can be accessed securely, and they can be modified, deleted, alter, everything can be done smoothly. So earlier, to store the informations, we can use the traditional file management systems. What is traditional file management systems? Basically, if we want to store the data through a file, that file can be created in C programs also. Suppose if I consider that I want to store the data of a banking management system, where the data of all the customers who has deposited the amount in the bank will be taken care of. So that deposited amount may be the saving. They can deposit it in a savings account, or they may deposit in a current account, or it may be a fixed deposit account or a recurring deposit account, or they may take may have taken some loan against those deposits. So for each of the accounts heads, I have to create individual tables to store the information about the customers. So that can be done using the traditional file management systems also. That means I have created several files, one for storing the loan account details, another for storing the savings account details, another for storing the current account details, or the fixed deposit account details. Now, if I consider a customer X has stored his money to this loan account, as well as savings account, as well as current account, as well as fixed deposit account. Now I have to keep the same person's information in all the tables. This is one of the problem in traditional file management systems. Why it is a problem? If I want to alter, or if I am to make any modifications regarding the customer's profile, suppose I want to change his phone number, that case I have to change manually in his loan account, in his savings account, current account, and fixed deposit account. Mind it, as I am doing it through a manual processing systems, that case if I forget by some means to alter in any one of the account, that might be a problem. That means some spurious or misinformations will be stored in those accounts. Another thing is that there is no security on those accounts. That means it is accessible to anybody. So this is two major problem of the traditional file management systems. Another is the data isolation. That means particular data will be stored, the details of a customers will be stored in a traditional file management systems in a scattered manner, discrete manners, in different locations. So to access those data through a single program, it will be a little bit difficult. And another is the program and data dependency. That means the program I am writing to access those data and the actual data, they are dependent on each other, they are correlated with each other. In traditional file management systems, suppose if I want to store the data of a customers in traditional file management systems, I can store it through a structure, right? I have to write the entire structures. In the structure member, as a structure members, I will put all the column name of the customers, like the customer's name, customer ID, the deposited amount, phone number. Now later on I want to modify that table. I want to introduce email ID also of that customer. That case I have to change in the structure. Until and unless I am changing in the structure, so I cannot store the data in the database also. That means the programs and data all are correlated with each other. Lack of flexibility. I cannot store huge amount of data. There are the limitations how much data I can store over there. So it is not scalable, it is not robust. Concurrent access anomalies. That means if I want to access it concurrently, suppose if the particular customers X has transferred his amount 2000 from account X to account Y, that case I have to debit that amount from the customer X, and after that I have to credit that amount to customer Y. So by this time, if concurrently somebody access the customer's X account and want to modify, that case it can modify it, and it will spurious data will come. Why? Because the customer X has supposed 2000 in his balance, and he has already deducted it and sent it to customer Y. Now its available balance is 0, but the other persons who wants to access this account concurrently and want to deduct the same amount 2000 from customers X account, that case it will be because that information is not updated in customers X account, right? So it will be an anomaly data will come over there, because 2000 plus 2000 and its actual balance will become minus 2000. So in any account the balance can never be the negative amount. So these are the problems that can arise in case of the traditional file management system. So that is why we have to, for concurrent access, secure access, deletion, modification, we have to use the database management systems. So the formal definition of database management system is DBMS is a collection of interrelated files and set of programs. This set of programs allow users to access and modify the files. Primary goal is to provide a convenient and efficient way to store and retrieve the information, and it has a layer of abstraction between the application program and the file systems. That means when I am changing the program, it is not going to affect in the file systems, and if I am to make any change in the file systems, it is not going to change anything in the program. So where actually DBMS fits in the traditional file management systems? Here you can see that this is the blank database, and the blank database can be accessed through the file systems, and on top of that we put the DBMS and the different queries that may arise from the user point of view, like the loan processing or the fixed deposit processing or the transaction processing, etc. Suppose for the loan processing, if somebody applies for a loan, then it will apply and run a query in the database management systems, and that query will go to the file management systems, and it will retrieve the data and shown it to the customers. Similarly, the fixed deposit processing or transaction processing we can apply in the same manner. And what is the difference between the traditional file management system and database management systems? The layers and concepts are same, only on top of the operating system, so we have the database management systems also, and due to the database management system, the application program that we are using, that program's query language we use in case of DBMS is called SQL, and that is very easy to handle. It is not it's a common language that we use basically in the day-to-day life. That is why it is called the structured query language. Suppose if I want to retrieve all the informations of a customers, those who have accounts in the bank, that case I just have to write a single query, select star. Star means all the data irrespective of any search string from customer details, and it will hit the database management systems through the operating system, and operating systems will retrieve the data and they give it to the end user. But in case of traditional file management systems, we have to write a single C programs on top of it, and that C programs will be compiled and converted to its machine level language, and go through the operating systems. It will take the data from the file system. And another very significant features of database management systems is the 3-layer architectures. That means it is divided into 3 layers. One is the view level or the view external level, another is the conceptual level, another is the internal level or the storage level. View level means where from the customer point of view, what are the what are the things that you can see in a database management systems. Suppose if you are accessing the e-commerce site like Flipkart or Amazon, after giving your ID and password, so what are the details you can see, that is the view level. And when you are hitting any one of the product, that means that product details will come to you. So that details is stored in a database or a table that is stored in the internal schema. And when you are clicking that one application program is running, that is in the conceptual schema, and that will take the data and shown to you. Now why this 3-layer abstraction is given? If I want to make any change in the internal schema, it is not going to affect the conceptual schema or the external schema. So that is called internal schema abstraction. And another, if I want to make any change in the application programs also, that is in the conceptual schema, it is not going to affect the users also. So why it is beneficial? That means have you seen ever that Flipkart or the Amazon have stopped their search engine or their website just for the maintenance, because they have to update the products every seconds, every moment, and the product details as well as the prices also, these are also varying, right? And what are the different types of schemes, different types of offers, different types of discounts they are providing, that are giving they are giving dynamically. So if you make a refresh, immediately you can find that all the details have been changed. How it is possible? We have to make the changes in the conceptual schema, right? So if I want to make the change in the conceptual schema, that case if it is unaware of the internal schema, that case it can be possible. Otherwise I have to stop my entire website to make these types of modifications, and that case you will lose a huge amount of revenue, because in a part second they might have doing thousands of transactions, so they cannot afford to stop their account for more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes like this one. So that is why database management system is very beneficial, just because of these 3-layer architectures and 3-level abstractions. And this is the detailed system architectures of the database management system. The same thing. Now if I give an example, that it will be clear. From the customer point of view, what I am seeing, that the customer ID, what is the loan number, and what is the amount. And for this, in the conceptual level, I have to write a table query that is called DDL statement, data definition language statement, that create table customer underscore loan, customer ID, and that field is a 4-digit number field. That means 4-digit will only be allowed. A loan number, that is number 4-digit will be allowed, and amount in dollars, that is the 7 digits. Out of this 2 will be the after the decimal point. So when I am writing this DDL statements, the immediately table will be created, and when the table will be created, the internal one data structures and that one data space will be allocated in my physical storage space, right? So how it will be allocated? That is, if I am taking the sequential data structure, that case 4 bytes will be allocated with an offset 0, and the next loan number will be, as they are being allocated in a sequential manner, that case the next 4 bytes will be allocated in offset 4. That means keeping these 4 bytes aside, the next 4 bytes will be allocated for loan number. Similarly, loan amount, that is, as already I have told, that 7 digits will be 7 bytes will be taken for this. Out of this, 5 bytes for the integer value and 2 bytes for the decimal value, and that will be taken for the offset 8. So now if I want to create another entry in the column, suppose the sex of the customer, that is male or female, and that is 1 digit, that is in character, that case it should start from 8 plus 7, that is 15. Now, who are the users of the database management systems? First is the database administrator, database designer. Database administrator keeps track of all the data tables and how to control this table and what type of authorization to be given to different types of users. Whether they should give grant read write access permission, or they should give only the read access permission. Not only that, if they think, they can revoke that particular access privilege also. So managing the information contents, liaising the different users through granting the authorization access, enforcing security and integrity rules, strategizing the backup and recovery process, monitoring the performance. Now, what is the job of the designer? Based on the customers or the client's requirements, they create the entity relationship diagram, and based on the diagram they find out how many tables should be created and what should be the relationship between the different tables. Now, application programmer basically the part of the end users. That means the end users. What are the different types of end users? So one type of end user is the sophisticated end users, one is the sophisticated end user, another is casual end user, one is the naive or parametric end user, another is standalone user. Casual end user means the people like us who are they make the day-to-day transactions through the e-commerce site, accessing different types of products in different days. So these are the casual end users. They are basically viewing, they have only the access privilege only, they cannot change anything or modifying anything. Naive or the parametric users, they will use a particular set of query, but they have the read write permissions both. Like suppose the reservation clerk, they are using a particular set of query to reserve the tickets, reserve the seats or the berth for the customers, or banking tailor, so day-to-day transactions is similar. They are not going to use the different types of sophisticated transactions that are done by the sophisticated end users, like the different scientist or the database developer. They are the sophisticated end user. Another type of end users are the standalone users, like those who are using the standalone account. They have created their own account and they are accessing their own account. So they have their database administrator as well as database designer, and as well as they are the different end users also. So next